Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Quarters temporary studio. Welcome to the show. So, spoiler season just keeps getting weirder and weirder because, we had apparently a lot of leaks, before spoiler season actually started, and now even more leaks during spoiler season. Get your stuff together, Wizards. What is going on? So the leaked image I turned into a, MTG.design card, though, so here we are. And yeah, again, thank you to all those on Reddit for the translated version of it. Drivnod, Dominus of the Massacre, if it is an actual card. This is a very exciting new card that definitely pulls some inspiration from some previous commanders, and I'll talk about those here in a bit. But yeah, Drivnod, if that's how you say it, 8/3 Phyrexian Horror for 3 black, 5 mana for an 8/3. That's a lot of power right there. But of course, it doesn't stop there. It gets even better. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers additional time. Does that sound familiar, anyone? Yeah, we'll talk about that other commander here in a bit. But yeah, Bay Phyrexian Black, exile 3 creature cards from your graveyard, put an indestructible counter on Drivnod, Dominus of the Massacre. So this is a Death Harmonicon commander, one that can double up all of your death triggers. And also one that, again, is an 8/3. And also, again, one that can be indestructible quite easily and for no mana. Again, that is Phyrexian Black. That is either, 2 mana, essentially, or just 4 life. And I say just 4 life. We're in Commander, right? That's 10% of your life. You can easily do away with 10% of your life in Commander, right? And there's plenty of ways to gain life. We'll actually talk about one of those here in a bit. But yeah, getting rid of 3 creature cards in your graveyard, that is not going to be very hard to do when you've got a commander that benefits you for sacrificing creatures. So get rid of the right ones, get them out of your graveyard, get that indestructible counter on this, utilize it in some fantastic ways. Again, doubling up your death triggers for a ton of value. And of course, yeah, probably just smacking your opponents with this massive, 8/3 indestructible just menace. It doesn't have menace, but it is a menace to the table is what I'm saying. Yeah, so there's a couple of different directions, of course, that you can take this commander. One of them is quite obvious, though. And yeah, let's talk about some inspiration that clearly this commander took from other commanders. And that, of course, would be Teysa Karlov, and yeah, I'm throwing Yargle in here too. Yargle, Glutton of Urborg, there we go. So Teysa Karlov, 2/4 Human Advisor, an incredibly popular commander, one of the most popular commanders of all time. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers initial time. Does that sound familiar? Because that's pretty much the exact same text as our brand new commander. And also on top of that, creature token to control Vigilance and Lifelink. Yeah, that's not the reason why this commander is popular. Teysa is the original Death Harmonicon commander. Obviously, this one's in Orzhov, so you've got access to another color, which is great. The new commander does not have access to that, but still, if you're going to have one or the other, yeah, having it in mono black versus mono white is definitely a step up, and it's definitely the one that you would rather have when it comes to, the cards that work well with a Death Harmonicon commander. And then, of course, Yargle is the other source of inspiration for this. Clearly, now, Yargle obviously has a little more power, a 9/3, definitely a lot better, even though it's a vanilla creature. But yeah, vanilla commander, it is great. We love you, Yargle, okay? You are definitely not getting outclassed by this brand new commander, or many commanders. We love you, Yargle! Keep being your frog spirit self, okay? Now, when it comes to cards that you might want to consider for this commander, I'm going to break things down into budget buys. Cards like these that are less than $1, cards that are within my own budget. And then later on, we'll talk about some pricier picks as well. And of course, I probably should already mention this. In the description below, there is a linked list of cards I'm talking about on this episode, so make sure you check that out. But again, you might want to wait until this card is officially confirmed before actually, buying anything, even if you are interested in it. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Anyways, Loxodon Warhammer. This one immediately came to mind because, great with Yargle, great with this commander, very good with this commander. Equipment that's going to get +3/+0, trample, and a lifelink, all very relevant with, again, our 8/3 commander, turning our commander into an 11/3 trample lifelink with, obviously, the easy potential to make it indestructible to really protect it in combat. So, yeah, that absolutely disgusting commander, smacking your opponents, for essentially, half the commander damage they need, right? It's a 2-shot KO that can heal you for 11 on a hit. And, of course, trample some damage through. Yeah, your opponents are going to just be well, quite scared of that and scared of all the other things you're doing. Now, another thing to consider is a card like Nesting Grounds. Taps for colorless, pay 1, tap, move a counter from target permanent you control onto another target permanent, activate only as a sorcery. So with this, you can really take advantage of your commander's ability to get more indestructible counters. Again, there is no limit to the amount of indestructible counters that you can get on it. It does not say, yeah, max 1. It does not say, hey, only do this once or whatnot. You can do more than 1 indestructible counters, and because of that, you can move them onto other creatures, or actually other permanents. If you really want to protect something, sure, get a second counter on your commander, move a counter onto something else to protect it. Solemn Simulacrum, another card you might want to consider. Sad Robot, yeah, sorry, Sad Robot, you're going to be sacrificed. Enters the battlefield, may search life for a base land card. That's great, cool. But when you die, you draw us a card, and let's double that up. Let's sacrifice you with something great to double up on that trigger. Now, when it comes to other creatures that want to be sacrificed, well, some don't even have, death triggers, and that's completely fine because we've got other ways to take advantage of them dying, but we also have ways to get them back, or at least ways to really take advantage of them, like Resummoning Skeleton, a great one. Pay 1 to black, bring it back from your graveyard to the battlefield, tap. That's all it does. It's just fantastic creature fodder that we can keep getting back again and again and again to really take advantage of death triggers. And again, with our commander, we double up those death triggers. So yeah, this little guy can do a ton of work for us. Speaking of which, Weaponcraft Enthusiast, Fabricate 2, yeah, we could get counters on it, but we're going to get those servos instead. So basically, hey, this is a 3-mana creature that brings 2 friends with it. So 3 pieces of creature fodder for 3 mana. What's not to love about that? Again, yeah, just this one card, a sacrifice outlet, and a way to take advantage of a death trigger, with something that we'll talk about here in a bit. That's basically, what, like 6 death triggers just in one? Yeah, you can get a lot of value out of that. And to take things a step further, how about Puppeteer Click, a 3/2 flyer that says, enters the battlefield, put target creature card from an opponent's graveyard on the battlefield under your control, gains haste beginning of the next end step, exile it, and of course it has persist. So basically, it comes into play. We're going to get an opponent's creature from their graveyard in a planar control, so that's 2 creatures right there. Now that creature would be exiled at the end step, but of course we're going to have sacrifice outlets so we can take advantage of that and also, double up on a death trigger. And then, yeah, we sacrifice this, it persists, it comes back, we get another one. So yeah, there's a lot of value to be had, a lot of potential to be had, again, with different ways to get creature fodder, whether that's, a creature like a Resummoning Skeleton that get itself back, Weaponcraft Enthusiast that brings some friends, or Puppeteer Click that, can bring itself back and also bring friends. And I keep mentioning sacrifice outlets, but yeah, there are plenty of great ones. And yeah, Phyrexia is a great one that can, well, sacrifice itself if need be. Sacrifice a creature, scry 1. Now, that's not going to double up. We're not going to scry 1 twice or anything like that, but still some nice additional card advantage, or I should say more so card selection to get off of sacrificing our creatures. And of course, we can get a lot of value from sacrificing, whether it's things like Sad Robot or those other pieces of creature fodder, when we, utilize those death triggers like Grim Harrowspecs. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. That can be absolutely massive throughout the game for us. An incredible amount of card advantage. I mean, again, just think about the card draw potential with just a sacrifice outlet, our commander, and say Puppeteer Click, okay? We, use Puppeteer Click. It comes into play. We get an opponent's creature. Awesome. Cool. We sacrifice both of them. We're drawing 4 cards in total, after we scry some as well at Phyrexia. And the Puppeteer Click, of course, comes back. We get another creature, sacrifice both of them. That's 8 cards drawn just for the Puppeteer Click doing what it does. And yeah, things can get really out of control with this commander, of course. And Zulport Cutthroat can really help us finish things off, put our opponents out of their misery. Whenever another creature control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. We can drain our opponents incredibly quickly with this and pad our life total. But now let's move on to the pricier picks, again, cards that are above $1. And yeah, Blood Artist, maybe someday we'll be back within my budget restrictions, but not today. Whenever it or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, this one is more targeted than Zulport Cutthroat, can really take a singular player out incredibly quickly, especially in combination, again, with a Death Harmonicon commander like this one. Next up, Skull Clamp. Hey, do you like drawing cards? How about drawing 2 cards every single time a creature dies? Oh, also on an equipment that can actually take out the creatures, so you might not even need a sacrifice outlet as well. Quick creature gets +1, -1. Quick creature dies, draw 2 cards, which of course our commander doubles up to 4. For a singular creature dying, no matter what it is, token or non-token, we're going to be drawing 4 cards. Yeah, absurd. Speaking of absurd, Dictative Erebos, gross, mean, terrible, well, terribly good. Flash, whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Now they have to sacrifice 2 creatures. That means you get a singular creature to play. Again, maybe one of those servos, okay, with the Weaponcraft Enthusiast, okay? You sacrifice that with your commander in play in Dictate of Erebos. All of your opponents sacrifice 2 creatures for the price of your 1 tiny token that you got rid of. They're not going to be able to keep any creatures on the board at all. And of course, things can get even grosser. I mean, Pitiless Plunder. Hey, this card definitely used to be budget-friendly. Now it is nowhere near budget-friendly. I would say Wizards reprinted, but goodness gracious, this thing is just gross. Anyways, whenever another creature you control dies, create a colorless treasure. Yeah, this somehow was an uncommon. I don't know how. I do not know how, but hey, if one of your creatures dies, it doesn't matter if it's a token or non-token creature, you're going to be getting 2 treasure tokens thanks to your commanders. So, yeah, there's some pretty gross things that you can do with that. I mean, just with this, plus your Resummoning Skeleton, that is infinite, right? Because you can just keep getting the Resummoning Skeleton back again and again and again. And of course, there are other ways to go infinite. I mean, hey, combine that with a Phyrexian Altar, all right? Sacrifice Outlet. Yeah, sacrifice a creature at 1 of any color. Now you're making infinite mana as well. Ashnod's Altar, another way to definitely go infinite in certain ways as well. Sacrifice a creature, add colors to your mana pool. Basically, there are just an incredible amount of ways to take advantage of making a lot of mana by sacrificing things when you can up that budget to the, pricier picks. And when it comes to fodder, you can also upgrade some of those pieces as well. I mean, Nether Trader is a fantastic one. 1/1 Haste and Shadow, that's nice, but what's more important is whenever the creature is put in a graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay black if you do. Return Nether Trader from your graveyard to the battlefield. Basically, a resummoning skeleton that we can kind of get back for cheaper as long as we have other creatures dying as well. And yeah, there are plenty of ways to go infinite with this. Plenty of ways to really take advantage of that. Bloodghast, another fantastic piece of fodder. Landfall, whenever land enters battlefield under control, you may return Bloodghast from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, a great way to just sacrifice it, get value out of it, get it back simply by just, playing a land. And maybe that land's an Evolving Wilds. Cool. All right, let's sacrifice Bloodghast again for more value. Crack the Evolving Wilds, get another land, get Bloodghast back, sacrifice again. Yeah, you can see how ridiculous this can get. Speaking of ridiculous, Mikaeus turns things up to 11 because other non-human creatures you control get ++1 and have Undying. Yeah, that is gross. I mean, the ++1 is nice, sure, a nice little anthem. More importantly, Undying makes those creatures come right back with a counter on them. And yeah, we get to sacrifice them again for even more value. And of course, again, with a Resummoning Skeleton type creature, Nether Trader type creature, basically sacrifice it twice, pay to get it back, sacrifice it twice, pay to get it back. You can do some pretty crazy loops with a commander, especially one like this, like a Death Harmonicon commander. So, yeah, I mean, Teysa Karlov, this is not, not because the, tokens get lifelink and vigilance, whatever. No one really cares about that all that much. I mean, I'm sure some players out there do. But regardless, the more important part is, yes, this is a Death Harmonicon commander. Basically the exact same as Teysa. This does cost 1 more mana. It doesn't have access to white, so obviously that's a downside. But it is an 8/3. It is a massive threat itself. And of course, it can very easily get an indestructible counter on it. And yeah, it can be very hard to deal with then. And yeah, there's just a lot of exciting things that you can do with it. I think it's got a lot of potential. I will say again, yeah, if it is real, because again, this is, a leak. It is not one that I've seen that has actually been confirmed. So yeah, make sure you check out my link in the description below if you're interested in the cards, for this commander. But yeah, you might want to wait until you're 100% positive that this is an actual card and it actually gets confirmed. So yeah, make sure you do just that. And with that, today's episode is coming to a close. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.